Hey, I'm glad you made it here. Maybe you clicked this video by accident, or maybe it just showed up while you were scrolling, not even sure what you were looking for. Maybe you were just trying to escape the noise around you, or the silence inside you. But something about this, the title, the image, the feeling, it stopped you for just a second, and for some reason, you stayed. You might not even know why, but you're still here. And that says something. It says there's a part of you, maybe quiet, maybe hidden, that's still searching, not for noise, not for answers, but for something real, something deeper, something that doesn't ask you to pretend. So let me say this, right at the start. You're not here by accident. Not everything is random. Sometimes what we call coincidence is just God in disguise. Sometimes He uses a word, a moment, a voice to get through. This might be that moment, because I know you're tired of pretending, tired of saying I'm fine when you don't even know what you're feeling, tired of praying and hearing nothing back, tired of feeling like God went silent right when you needed Him most. Maybe you've stopped expecting anything at all, stopped listening, but what if this is God speaking? Not with lightning, not with loud answers, but with a whisper, a reminder, a gentle tap on your tired soul that says, I'm still here. He does that, you know. He speaks through the unexpected, through stillness, through a video that shows up when you weren't even looking. And when God speaks, He doesn't shout, He comforts. He reaches in the quiet places, the hidden places, the broken places. So maybe before you go, you could stay just a little longer, not to listen with your ears, but with your heart. Maybe what you need right now isn't an explanation. Maybe it's not a solution or a breakthrough or a sign in the sky. Maybe it's just presence, stillness, a moment to remember you're not as alone as you feel. This channel was created for that. For you, for the ones who are still holding on, even when their hands are shaking. And if this message speaks to your heart, don't walk away in silence. Stay with us. Subscribe, not because you have to, but because maybe, just maybe, God is inviting you to keep walking, not alone. We're only just beginning, because most people don't get this far. They scroll, they skip, they click away. They're too busy looking for quick fixes, loud promises, or flashy miracles that don't ask anything real from them. But you didn't. You stayed. And that means something. It means that even in the exhaustion, even in the confusion, even in the silence, there's still a part of you that wants to believe God is close. Even if you don't feel Him, even if it's been a while. And that place right there, the one between your weariness and your fragile hope, that's where He speaks. God doesn't show up with fanfare. He shows up in the quiet, in the moment between one breath and the next, in the silence between I'm fine and the truth you can't speak, in that fragile second when your heart whispers, I can't keep going like this. That's when He moves. But most of us, we don't make space for it. We wake up already behind. We perform, we push, we pretend. We hold ourselves together just enough to survive the day and fall apart the moment the door closes. And in all that noise, we forget that God never needed volume to be present. He just needed space. He's not looking at your to-do list. He's not measuring your prayer life. He's not waiting for you to prove your faith before He shows up. He's already here. In the middle of your mess, in the ache behind your smile, in the parts of you that feel too heavy to carry, and still. He calls your name. You don't have to be whole to be loved. You don't have to be strong to be seen. You don't have to know what comes next to be held. You just have to pause, slow down, breathe, let go of the pressure to have it all together, and give Him permission to meet you where you are. Not where you think you should be, not where you pretend to be, but right here, right now. So close your eyes, even for just a few seconds. Let the noise fall away and let yourself feel this moment. Can you feel it? That softness, that stillness that's not coming from the outside, but from somewhere deeper. The peace that makes no sense, the presence that needs no explanation. the weight on your shoulders, starting to shift, even if just a little. Not where you think you should be, not where you pretend to be, but right here, right now. So close your eyes, even for just a few seconds. Let the noise fall away and let yourself feel this moment. Can you feel it? That softness, that stillness that's not coming from the outside, but from somewhere deeper, the peace that makes no sense, the presence that needs no explanation, the weight on your shoulders, starting to shift, even if just a little. And maybe this moment, this quiet, unexpected pause in your day, is where healing begins. Not the kind that fixes everything instantly, not the kind that makes life perfect or easy, but the kind that softens the tightness in your chest, that lets you breathe again, that whispers, "You're safe now, safe." Because healing doesn't always start with a miracle. Sometimes it starts with permission, permission to stop pretending, permission to be tired, to be unsure, to not have the words, to feel everything you've been trying to avoid. And right now, I want to give you that permission. Not because I'm anyone special, but because maybe you've been waiting for someone to say it's okay. To not be okay. You don't have to carry it all, not tonight, not in this moment, not here. This space is sacred, not because it's holy ground, but because it's honest ground. Because maybe for the first time in a long time, you're not pushing anything away. You're just here, sitting in the stillness, letting the ache breathe, letting the questions exist without rushing to answer them. And God, He's not afraid of any of it, not your silence, not your doubts, not your mess. He's not ashamed of your sadness. He's not surprised by your anger. He's not disappointed in your distance. He already knew, and He stayed, not because you earned it, not because you proved your faith, but because love like His doesn't walk away. He never did. Even when you questioned everything, even when you gave up, even when you convinced yourself He had moved on, He was there. Right behind the door you closed, right beneath the numbness you wore like armor, right in the middle of the mess you thought disqualified you. And maybe this video, this voice, this moment, it's not here to give you all the answers. Maybe it's just here to hold space until you remember that you're still worth holding, because you are. Even now, especially now, you don't have to run, not anymore. Not from yourself, not from God, not from the quiet voice that keeps saying, "Come back, I've been here the whole time." So sit with that. Let those words settle. And when you're ready, not rushed, not forced, you can take the next breath a little deeper, the next step a little slower. You don't have to sprint. You're not behind. You're not late. You're just here. And maybe that's all He needed. Before we keep going, can I ask you something? What brought you here? I mean, what kind of day were you having? What season of life are you in? Were you feeling lost, numb, desperate? Or maybe you weren't feeling anything at all? If you're willing, drop a comment. Not for me, but for you. Write what day this was, what hour, what you were going through. Not a whole story, just a glimpse. Because maybe, months from now, you'll look back and realize this wasn't random, that this video didn't just show up. It found you at the exact time your heart needed it most. And sometimes, the act of remembering when God whispered is what helps us keep listening when it gets quiet again. So now, let's keep going. You're not behind, not spiritually, not emotionally, not in life. I know it feels like you've wasted time, like you should be further along by now, like everyone else is running laps around you while you're stuck in the same questions, the same grief, the same loop. But hear me, God doesn't measure your growth by speed. He measures it by surrender, by softness, by how willing you are to let Him hold the broken pieces, even when you can't fix them. And right now, you're growing, you're healing, even if you don't see it yet. Because healing doesn't always look like progress. Sometimes it looks like not running anymore, not hiding, not pretending. Sometimes healing looks like sitting still with your sadness and letting God sit with you. You're not invisible here. You're not a number on a screen. You're not a burden, a project, or a disappointment. You're a soul. You're a story in motion. And God, He's not done writing. He's still unfolding pages you thought were over, still breathing into places you gave up on, still building things you can't yet see. So breathe. You don't have to figure it all out tonight. You don't have to change everything tomorrow. Just take one more quiet step. Even if that step is just sitting here in this moment and letting grace find you again. You're still here. And that means something is shifting. Maybe not around you, but within you. Maybe it's small, maybe it's quiet, but there's a tenderness in the silence now, a softness in the ache, a flicker of warmth where there was only cold before. And maybe that's how God begins to rebuild you, not with loud miracles, but with quiet awakenings. He doesn't always show up with thunder. Sometimes He shows up like this, in the middle of the night, in a tired scroll, in a voice that sounds like someone else's but feels like it was meant just for you. And maybe this is that moment, not the finish line, not the victory speech, but the breath before the breakthrough. Because He never stopped writing your story, even when you walked away, even when you couldn't pray, even when you told yourself you were too far gone. You weren't. He kept writing. He wrote through your silence, through your fear, through your numb days and your angry nights. He wrote grace into the margins, mercy into the pauses, love into the places you thought were too scarred to hold anything good. And now, He's handing you the page again, not to control it, not to fix it, but to read what's always been true. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are not alone. There is a chapter coming that looks nothing like the pain that brought you here. But you don't have to rush to it. You don't have to skip ahead. You don't have to know what's next. You just have to stay open to this moment, to this stillness, to this God who isn't done with you yet. Because He's not just writing about you, He's writing with you. He's inviting you to be part of the healing, not as a project, but as a co-creator of a life rebuilt in grace. So let your soul rest. Let the noise fade. Let the next breath be enough. This isn't the end. This is a turning point, a sacred hinge, where the pain meets the presence, where the silence becomes the sanctuary, where you start to believe again, not in a perfect life, but in a present God. You don't have to do this alone anymore. That weight you've been carrying, the one that keeps pressing down, even when you're smiling, even when you're functioning, even when no one sees it, it was never meant to be yours alone. Maybe you thought you had to be strong for everyone else. Maybe you've spent so long being the stable one that no one even notices when you're not okay. Or maybe you've just been surviving, one day at a time, one breath at a time, quietly breaking behind closed doors. But here's the truth. God doesn't need you to hold it all together. He never asked you to fake your strength. He never called you to carry things that are slowly crushing your heart. He never designed you to live life disconnected and exhausted. You were made to be held. You were made to lean, to rest, to trust, to fall apart in the presence of someone who can handle all your broken pieces and love you in every single one of them. And right now, that someone is still here, still patient, still gentle, still waiting for the moment you finally exhale and say, I can't do this by myself anymore. That's not weakness, that's surrender. That's the first breath of peace. So let it in. Let go of the pressure to always be okay. Let go of the shame for how long it's taken. Let go of the lie that says you're too late, too far gone, too complicated to be healed. None of it is true. You are still redeemable, still reachable, still worth showing up for. And if this message has met you in a place you didn't even have words for, then know this. God saw it. He saw you, and He sent this moment, not to fix everything instantly, but to remind you that He's not finished yet, and neither are you. So keep breathing, keep softening, keep staying open to the possibility that grace is not just an idea. It's real, it's here, and it has your name written all over it. And if something in this message touched a place in you that hasn't been touched in a long time, don't leave quietly. This is more than a video. It's a doorway, a beginning, a place you're always welcome to return to. You're not alone here. We're building something real, a community of quiet souls, of tired hearts, of believers who don't have it all together but still believe God is in the story. So if that sounds like home, subscribe. Not for numbers, not for clicks, but so you remember, the next time the silence gets loud again, that there's a place you can return to. Right here, where you're seen, where you're held, where you're not alone. This is your quiet return, not the dramatic comeback, not the loud testimony, not the fireworks and spotlight kind of moment. Just this, a still breath, a soft whisper, a sacred pause in the middle of your chaos, and somehow, it's enough. It doesn't mean everything's fixed. It doesn't mean the storm is over, but it means you're not facing it alone anymore. It means the silence isn't empty, it's full of presence, of mercy, of a God who doesn't need to explain himself to prove he's near. You've come back to the place you never really left. You just forgot how close it always was, because faith isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just refusing to close your heart one more time. It's choosing to stay open even when it hurts, even when nothing changes overnight, even when you don't know what to pray anymore. And maybe, just maybe, that kind of faith is more powerful than anything else, the kind that keeps showing up, that keeps breathing, that keeps choosing softness over numbness, hope over cynicism, God over isolation. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not too late. You are not too much. You are here. You are breathing, and that is holy ground. So let this final moment be one of release. Not performance, not pretending, just release. Let your shoulders fall. Let your jaw unclench. Let the tears rise if they want to. Let the silence wrap around you like a warm blanket. You've been carrying too much for too long on your own. It's okay to put it down now. God is not asking you to fix yourself. He's asking you to give him what you've been holding on to open your hands, not to prove anything, but to rest in the hands that never stopped holding you. And as this video comes to a close, I want you to know something that may sound simple, but someone out there needs to hear it. You made it. You made it to the end. You stayed. You listened. You opened up when it would have been easier to shut down. And that matters. So before you go, breathe this in. You are deeply loved. Right here, right now, as you are. And whatever happens next, in your heart, in your life, in your story, you won't walk it alone. Thank you for letting me speak into your silence. Thank you for trusting this space. And if the weight comes back tomorrow, if the world feels loud again, you can return here, anytime, always.